It's been a very long time. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello, hello. It's better without the headphones. Happy Martin Luther King Day, Jr. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Yeah, it's been a moment since before Christmas, actually, since I have spent some real time. I hope you had a lovely day, that you enjoyed the day, and that you ignored. I wasn't sure how this was going to work out. It's my first time doing this on a computer. That you ignored everything that did not pertain to you. I got a couple things I want to share. So that's why I'm here. And I'm hoping the mic is picking me up. Been a little under the weather, so kind of bear with me if you hear my cold coming through, or if I have to excuse myself to take care of my nose and everything. Okay. So, if you're new to the channel, my name's Danelzia, and I do a lot of different things. But that's not what I want to, from books to adult modeling to music, things of that nature. But that's not really quite what I want to concentrate on right now. I've got a message I want to share. So, a lot has been going on in the internet world with the new presidency taking place, or that has taken place. Now, I didn't watch, and I encouraged other people not to watch. A lot of mixed feelings going around in regards to how people are feeling about a few of the performers, and they're saying they're going to cancel them. People like Snoop Dogg and Nelly and things of that nature. Michelle came up a few times from what happened to her when she performed for the last inauguration for Trump. And some people were sad about it. A lot of people were outraged. So I'm going to start with that, since that's a touchy subject, and then we're going to get into some other things that I had to research to understand. Okay. Now, it's understandable that some people may not see why an artist would prioritize financial opportunities over community events or vice versa. But for artists, their work is not just a passion, it's their livelihood. The name of the game for many in this industry has always been about earning coins to sustain their craft, support their families, and invest in future projects. That said, it's not always about money. Many artists deeply value giving back and connecting with their communities, and they often balance these commitments with paid opportunities. For example, performing for a high-profile event like a presidential inauguration or crypto ball might offer not just money, but exposure, networking opportunities, and future bookings. Art is a career just like any other. Just as a teacher, a doctor, or a business owner works for income, artists have to consider how to sustain themselves while following their passion. It's a delicate balance, and each artist makes decisions based on their unique goals and circumstances. I heard some comments, they've got enough money, they didn't have to do that. You don't know their checking. You just know what you can Google on the internet. You don't really know what's in their checking, they savings, what's tied up as far as liquid. And they may not just be caring for their families, they might be caring for other families too. From what I know, Snoop, when one of his partners died or something, he was taking care of the other person's kids. You don't know. And I am sure if since Snoop went and tap danced for the master, on Masa, we're not gonna call him master, but Masa, uh, after saying what he had said previously, baby, I am sure that check was fat, fat. For Ice Cube to be hanging with him, and Cube and Snoop to change the mind real quick. Listen, that check had to be out the stratosphere. Period. And that's the difference between community and other folks' money. Money talk. Let's get started. I had to do some research and look up some words. So, uh, before we get started, since we are starting a new era, I wanted to get that out the way real quick. Since we are starting a new era, I believe I would like to go through a prayer real quick that I just wrote. If you would like to afterwards see some more of the prayers that I do, they're on Substack. And I'll give you that email address here momentarily. Not the email, but the address where to find some more. This is not going to be just any kind of prayer. I was watching a movie, and I seldom get to. First of all, if I watch something, it's for educational purposes. I seldom get to watch movies. If I do watch a movie, it's normally because I'm searching for something. I'll remember something in my mind from maybe previous, and I'll be like, I need to go review that. I missed something, and I need to take notes on that and put it to use. Okay. So I didn't watch much television growing up in the household. I still don't. I do a lot of book reading and research. But and I love things like math, algebra, trig, science, biology, chemistry. But I was never a history buff. That was not, or a religion. That was not my that was not my passion. That was not my love. That wasn't something I thought I would be doing when I got older, looking into researching more into. I probably just didn't like history because they didn't really cover that much of it in regular school. But when I started to read about my own history and things of that nature, I was interested. So I did not know in the Manhattan financial district until I watched this movie that this sacred memorial was in the heart and center of the financial district in Manhattan, and it's called the Memorial Wall, and it was created by Leon, Rodney Leon Memorial, and I was talking to my chat GPT and I was trying to find out the symbols, and that was not working. And so I went to the website, and it's called African Burial Ground National Monument. The videos, enjoy your history while you can. They've already taken the videos down off that website. There are no videos to explain the symbolic meanings, of course not, of the at the African burial ground. So I did do some digging on the internet and looked into things a little more. So the prayer is going to center around the symbols. Now, a couple of things. Um, the first thing I questioned, I said, if this was not important, then it wouldn't be in the middle of the biggest financial district in the United States. An African memorial burial ground, which means it's of extreme importance. Okay. Uh, there's some things in history. It's closed now because I said, "Oh, this must be on my destiny marker list for me to visit." So the site is closed. I guess it needs some upkeep. So the videos aren't up and the site is closed. Um, in the burial ground, there are symbols in the granite all around. And then on the floor or in the rotunde, there are uh, inscriptions or, uh, oh, there are trees. So the trees, since I dug for it, here we go. Ah, the 7 trees serving as guardians for the entrance to the ancestral chamber at the African Burial Ground National Monument are sassafras, a symbol of protection and healing in many African cultures; sweet bay magnolia, a tree with fragrant leaves representing the sweetness of life and the ancestors; redbud, A tree with vibrant flowers symbolizing the beauty and resilience of African culture. Persimmon. Persimmon. A tree with edible fruit representing abundance and nourishment. Black gum. A tree with a strong, durable wood symbolizing strength and endurance. American holly, a tree with prickly leaves and red berries representing protection and good fortune. Cypress, a tree often associated with mourning and remembrance, symbolizing respect and reverence for the ancestors. All right. And an altar, which is essentially what this is. Um, it's an altar in the middle of the financial district of Manhattan, where people bring flowers and gifts and blessings and say their prayers. Life, fresh flowers and trees, plants are normally kept on the altar. Okay. So, O Divine Creator, we gather beneath these sacred symbols etched with wisdom of ages to honor our ancestors, their sacrifices, and their enduring spirit. Nisbidi, guide us with the ancient wisdom, and that's Nsibidi, of interconnectedness. And unity. As we walk the paths of love, justice, and harmony, Nasaroma, Nsoromma, may the stars above remind us of our divine purpose and light the way to our destined greatness. Nyami Biribi Wo Soro, NYAME BIRIBIWOSORO. Grant us faith in the unseen that our prayers may rise to the heavens and bear fruit. Asasi Yiduru, ASASEYEDURU. Let us stand grounded in the richness of the earth, knowing that the life's weight is balanced by the nurturing soil beneath us. Guy Nyami, GYENYAME. You who reign supreme, teach us to trust in your omnipotence through all seasons. Yaiwan Yi, HYEWONHYE. Kindle within us the strength of resilience that no trial may break the spirit you have forged. Ankh, which most of us are familiar with. ANKH. Bestow upon us the gift of life eternal that we may carry forth the legacies of those who came before. Medicine wheel. Heal our hearts, mind, and bodies that we may find harmony within ourselves and with others. Latin cross. Let your sacrifice inspire our lives, filling us with love, forgiveness, and grace. Tanit. May we, TANIT, may we honor the sacred feminine and celebrate the balance of creation. Man Brigitte, which is part of the voodoo. Protect us with the wisdom of the ancestors. And that's MAN Brigitte, BRIGITTE. And guard us against harm as we journey forward. Yowa, OWA. Guide us through life cycles, reminding us that every ending is a new beginning. Baron. Strengthen our connection to the departed, that their wisdom may illuminate our path. Masi. Matemasi. May we learn and remember, holding close the truths that shape us. Akomo Natuso. Akomantoso. Bind us together in unity and patience, that love may flourish in our hearts and communities. Funtufunifu Dinky Funifu. That's FUNTUNFUNEFU hyphen D like David, ENKYEMFUNEFU. Teach us to embrace coexistence, even when we are different, for unity brings strength. D. Winnimin, D like David, WENNIMMEN. Help us balance humility and strength, that we may walk with grace and courage. Dink Yim, D like David, ENKYEM. Grant us adaptability and perseverance to navigate the rivers of life with purpose. A como. Fill your hearts with love and compassion, that we may heal and uplift one another. Sankofu. S like Sam, AN like Nancy, KOF like Frank A. Guide us to retrieve the lessons of the past and use them to build a brighter tomorrow. Legba, also known as Elekwa. Papa Legba, open the gates to new opportunities and protect our crossroads, that we may walk with clarity and purpose toward our destiny. Insibidi, which means journey. NSIBIDI. May our journeys be blessed with wisdom, and may our steps be guided by your hand. Nyambi Burimbi Wusoru. Thought we did that one. I might have accidentally wrote it twice. Let us look to the heavens with hope, knowing that goodness awaits those who believe. O Creator, may these sacred symbols guard us, inspire us, and lead us toward a life of peace, prosperity, and purpose. Ashe. Amen. So it is. So yeah, we're going to begin with prayer, and then let's dig in. Let's see. So, whoopsie daisy. Here we go. If you like that prayer and you want to learn more, especially regarding things like African ancestors, things of that nature, you can find me on Substack. Let's see. And pardon me, I've been under the weather. I've been a little bit sick. I don't know if there's a pause button on here or not, if I need to blow my nose or anything. Let me see. Oh, there he is. Quick. Okay, good. That's at HTTPS semicolon / DENELSIA dot substack.com, or if you're looking for something more detailed, patreon.com / replenish the number 7. Okay, so I went and I looked up. I've never done this from the computer before, so I am I'm working with some things here, some different ailments. All right. Ooh, I did something. Oh, whoopsie daisy. Okay. What did you all do for fun since it was Martin Luther King Day? Right. I've been writing a book. And since I've gotten everything down pat except for the formatting and the things that I found out, of course, today regarding the symbols at the ancestor burial ground that I did a lot of research on. So this video will be up until I get the book together. The goal is before the end of the month. And then once I've had the book out a week or two, I'll put the video on my Patreon page. And then I've already done the artwork for it as well. All right, let's give you a summary of what we got going on in this book. While I'm bringing things up, if you are a creative, I think it paused on me. Oh, it came back. This would be the time for you to go ahead and start to have something where if a switch was flipped and all social media was no longer available, your audience, what do you have to stay in touch with your audience? How are you capturing their information? Can you send them an email, a text, or are you just letting TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, are you just letting them handle everything? And if somebody flipped the switch and it was all over with tomorrow, that audience that you have worked for, what are you doing to keep that audience that you worked so hard for? How are you going to keep in touch with everyone that is on your list? They were on TikTok saying goodbyes and farewells, talking about they woke up and 46% of their audience was American and gone. I would like to stay in touch with my audience. If you could kindly sign up at my Substack, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Because I would like to keep all of you. Okay. Now, whoopsie daisy. There we go. Bear with me, y'all. Okay. All right. So my first My introduction is dedication to a leg walk across the roads. We just said a prayer, so I won't need to do another prayer. Since I did go ahead and I included Papa Legba in there. I talk about fascism. I wasn't really familiar with what fascism was. So I went ahead and I made sure I looked it up. And then also, matter of fact, I'm just gonna go right on over to it. There we go. Yeah, I get to asking questions and I don't stop until my questions are answered. And I said, well, if I got questions, other people must have questions too. So we're going to answer some questions. What is fascism? It is a far right authoritarian political ideology that emphasizes, close this out, and let me, I'm learning. There we go. Ooh, I don't know how to get rid of this box. Okay. Emphasizes extreme nationalism, centralized control, and other militarism. Key characteristics include, authoritarianism, centralized dictatorial power with little tolerance for opposition or dissent. Nationalism, intense pride in one's nation, often paired with xenophobia or racism. Suppression of individual rights, limited personal freedoms with uh-uh. All right. Limited personal freedoms with the state prioritizing collective goals over individual needs. Propaganda and censorship. Extensive use of media to control public perception and suppress opposing viewpoints. There's been a lot of talk on the internet about propaganda, especially when Bad Bunny dropped his album. They were saying Beyonce was propaganda, but Bad Bunny was something. Bad Bunny was, they loved him album. He felt he was in the right. You know what, y'all give us a hard time, us ladies, us black ladies. Or ladies just in general, really. What I mean by that is, most of you all are probably gonna forgive Snoop and Nelly. So that's the first thing. Because they're men. Even though Chrisette paid for a long time and it had some harm in her outcome, you know. Um, she suffered for that performance. But because they're men and because of who was chosen, I could see that just it being acceptable. in the community. Um, in regards to the conversation regarding Bugs Bunny versus Beyonce, when it comes to honoring the ancestors, remembering roots, including them in the music, things of that nature. When she does it, I guess some people frown upon it. Personally, I love it. Black Parade is one of my favorites by her. And I don't, it's like it's acceptable for everyone else to accept their culture. But when the African American community does it, it seems as if it's looked at a little differently or frowned upon. So I don't really appreciate that. I love uh, my culture and getting to know what was prior to being brainwashed into other religions, brainwashed, beat, broken, whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, propaganda. Militarism, strong emphasis on military power and often expansionist policies. Economic control, government may collaborate with corporate um, entities but maintain strict control over production and labor to align with state goals. We've covered the different types of fascism. The next question I asked was, tell me what a and I'm not going to read through all these. I'll just give you brief names, examples, time periods. Notable historical examples of fascist regiments. Italy, 1922 to 1943. Leader Benito Mussolini. He was Italy's dictator. Nazi Germany, 1933 to 1945. Leader Adolf Hitler. National Socialism and Nazism. Spain, 1939 and 1975. Leader Francisco Franco. Japan, 1930s to 1945. Military leaders like Hideki Tojo. Argentina, 1946 to 1955. Leader Juan Perón. Portugal, 1933 to 1974. Leader Antonio de Oliveira Salazar. So those are just a few examples of a fascist leaders and those who had regimens that are known in history. So my next question was, I like to paint pictures. A generalized list of what an individual may look for that has never been subjected or heard of fascism. I wanted it in easy to follow terms that an 8th grader can understand. Because although I like to read, I realize that uh, not everybody likes to and they want things straightforward and simple wording. So that's what I did. So the list: a leader with total power. There's one person or group in charge who doesn't let anyone else make decisions or question them. No freedom to speak or think. People can't say what they believe or share opinions without fear of punishment. Extreme pride in their country. They act like their country is better than all others and blame outsiders or minority groups for problems. Using fear to stay in control. They may use violence, threats, or big lies to scare people into obeying them. Controlling the media. Only certain information is allowed, and the government spreads propaganda to make itself look good. Everyone must obey the rules. Individual rights don't matter as much as following the government's orders. Big military focus. They spend lots of money on weapons and war to show power and control. Blaming certain groups. They often pick on minorities, blaming them for problems or treating them unfairly. Punishing dissent. Anyone who disagrees or protests is punished or silenced. All about us versus them. They divide people into good, loyal, and bad, outsiders or opponents, encouraging hate and fear. This list is a guide to help spot signs of fascism in history or even in current events. It's important to learn about it so we can prevent it. All right, so the next question I asked is when Trump was to take presidency, because I started this 2 days ago. I said, so what does that look like? Why people would think that it shows fascism? Fascism is a system where one person or group takes a lot of control, often using pressure or influence to get others to do what they want. It can ignore rules that are supposed to keep things fair and balanced. On January 3rd, 2025, Mike Johnson was reelected as the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives. At first, some Republican lawmakers didn't agree with the decision. But during the voting, Donald Trump, who just turned president and stepped in, called two lawmakers, Ralph Norman and Keith Self, who were voting against Johnson. After those calls, both changed their votes to support Johnson. This change gave Johnson enough votes to win. Why people see this as fascism? This is just an example. Strong control by one leader. Trump's direct involvement shows how much power he has over other leaders in his party. Instead of letting lawmakers vote freely, his influence may have pressured them to change their minds. Ignoring fair processes in a democracy, decisions are supposed to be made without fear or pressure. If lawmakers feel forced to follow one person, it can seem like a step toward fascism, where one leader dominates. Unified power. Fascism often works by uniting people under one strong leader, even if it means removing disagreements or debate. Why this matters. Understanding these events helps people notice when a government might be moving toward unfair or controlling systems. By learning about fascism, people can decide if they agree with how power is being used or if changes need to happen to protect democracy. Fascism and religion, LGBT plus, immigrants, African Americans, etc. is what I asked about next. The answer. Fascism often intersects with religion, LGBTQ plus rights, immigration, and racial issues in ways that emphasize exclusion, control, and division. Here's how fascist ideologies have historically approached these topics. Religion. Use of religion. Fascist regimens often exploit religion to justify their authority, portraying themselves as defenders of traditional values. The religion he has decided to protect and defend and exploit would be Christianity. Targeting religious minorities, they may demonize or persecute religious groups that don't align with their vision. Example, Jews in Nazi Germany. State control. Religion is sometimes co-opted by state with religious institutions forced to support the regimen. LGBTQ plus rights. Oppression. Fascist regimens typically oppose LGBTQ plus rights, viewing them as a threat to traditional family structures and societal purity. Persecution. LGBTQ plus individuals are often criminalized, imprisoned, or subjected to violence. For example, Nazi Germany sent thousands of gay men to concentration camps. It really surprised me they had the Village People perform. Let's keep going. Propaganda. They may use anti-LGBTQ plus rhetoric to rally conservative support and vilify dissenting lifestyles. Immigrants. Xenophobia. Fascists promote extreme nationalism, often blaming immigrants for economic or social problems. Exclusion policies. They advocate for strict immigration laws, deportations, and border control. Scapegoating. Immigrants are portrayed as invaders or threats to the nation's cultural identity. Black people and other minorities. Racism. Fascism often incorporates racial superiority ideologies, marginalizations of Black people and other racial groups. Segregation and violence. Minority groups are subjected to systemic discrimination, violence, and exclusion from opportunities. Erasure of history. Fascist regimens may suppress or rewrite history to downplay or erase contributions by minority groups. What else would you expect the it's war, it's survival, it's that is the mindset of the one that is oppressing. It's not, it's coins and it's resources. In order to keep the coins and the resources and the mind at a slave mentality and dumbed down, then we can't let you know your history. That's why history is important. Knowing your history prevents you from reliving what has happened in the past and giving you light for the future. So to erase history is to take away light, it's to take away options, which is why they don't want you knowing your history. Which is why most of you probably don't know about the African Burial Center in the middle of Manhattan for the Africans that died and are buried that built New York. All right. They got rid of that and they replaced it with whatever they wanted to as far as religion and culture. But it's very important for you to know it's there. Never even heard of it. They don't teach it in church. You got to do the research on your own to even find out what the past religion was, the culture was, what it was before Christianity, how Christianity got here. All of that is important. How we got here, how the different races came about. All that is important when it comes to history. All right, so let's go to the next question that I asked. So, general strategy is fascist ideologies strive on creating us versus them narratives. They target groups perceived as different, weak, or threatening to unite the majority against a common enemy, consolidating power in the process. Recognizing these patterns are crucial in identifying and resisting fascist tendencies. Excuse me, I got a cough. I'm sick. Okay, thank you. Let's see. So naturally, I said, well, this sounds like a mental health issue to me. This fascist thing. Before we get to the fascist, there was one more word that appeared that I wanted to research. So I did. And it was, let's see. Here's my notes. Oligarchy. I kept seeing the word. I said, let me look it up. Thank you for your patience waiting on the word to come. Oh. There we go. Let's see. Thank you for tuning in. All right. So, oligarchies are distinct from other forms of governance like democracies or monarchies. Elements of oligarchic control can appear in many systems, particularly when power becomes concentrated in the hands of a few. So it's a form of government or organizational structure in which a small group of people holds concentrated power and authority. These individuals may be distinguished by their wealth, family, um, ties, their education, corporate control, or military influence. In this type of systems, decisions are typically made by this elite group, often prioritizing their interest over those of the broader population. So the characteristics of oligarchy are limited participation. Excuse me. Excuse me. Power is restricted to a select few, excluding the majority of people from decision making. Concentration of wealth, economic power often reinforces political power, leading to small, wealthy class dominating. Lack of accountability. The ruling group may operate with limited checks and balances, making it difficult to challenge their authority. Control through institutions. Oligarchies often manipulate legal, political, or economic systems to maintain their control. Pardon me. Example in history and society of oligarchy. Ancient Greece. Some city-states, such as Sparta, were governed by that structure. Modern context, countries or organizations where influential business elites or political families dominate policy and decision making can also exhibit such tendencies. So I asked some questions after. I'm gonna include some other things in here. Um, they were protesting today, by the way, y'all. I don't know what they're protesting for, but yeah.
Show me a single fucking clip in the past 8 years of Donald Trump speaking intelligently about any policy decision, domestic or foreign. You will not find a single one, not a single clip of the President of the United States speaking like he has any fucking wherewithal whatsoever about policy. Donald Trump, if you put him on stage right now, he wouldn't be able to tell you what a tariff is. He wouldn't be able to explain the responsibilities of the 3 branches of government. He wouldn't be able to do it. He doesn't know what the Attorney General is for. He doesn't know what the Department of Justice. He has no fucking concept of any of these things. But he gets a pass by it because the media won't press him on it because they don't want to seem biased and because his supporters are fucking idiots. Strong word. And another challenge. A reward of $10 for Donald Trump speaking cogently. About any policy, domestic or foreign, over the past 8 years. Something that where you listen to the guy and you're like, whoa, shit, this guy knows some shit. He knows some shit. We'll set up a special email address or something for the submissions. Show me a single fucking clip in the past 8 years of Donald Trump speaking intelligently about any policy decision, domestic or foreign. You will not find a single.
I took the liberty to do a few things. So I'm going to explain what he said Trump doesn't know about. And then he said something about an email address. So I took the liberty to look up who you would want to talk to about Project 2025 in case you wanted to send them an email. So let's go through a few things. All right. I couldn't believe the amount of videos where people didn't know what a tariff was. I said, okay. All right. So I'll start there and I will go to the next thing that was questioned. A tariff is a tax or duty imposed by a government on imported or exported goods. The purpose is to protect domestic industries by making foreign goods more expensive, generate revenue for the government, not your pockets, darling, for the government, influence trade policies or relationships with other countries. Responsibility of the three branches of government. In a system like the United States, the three branches of government are designed to ensure a separation of powers and checks and balances. Legislative branch makes laws. This includes Congress, House of Representatives, and Senate. Executive branch enforces laws, led by the president, includes federal agencies. Judicial branch interprets laws, includes courts, with the Supreme Court being the highest authority. The Attorney General is the chief legal officer of government. Represents the government in legal matters, provides legal advice to the president or executive branch, oversees law enforcement and legal affairs. Department of Justice is the federal executive department responsible for enforcing United States laws and ensuring justice. The purpose: investigate and prosecute violations of federal law, manage federal prisons and related institutions, represent the government in legal dispute, and protect public interest. So my next question was, how is the government set up from the president to the state, and what each one does in between? I actually wrote about it quite some time ago, but I said I could use a refresher just in case something changed, because they are doing a lot of changes now. National, federal government, and state governments. Here's a breakdown of how it's set up. From the president down to the state governments, including key roles and responsibilities. Excuse me. Federal level. President, executive branch. Role: head of state, head of government, and commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Responsibility: enforces federal law and oversees federal agencies, signs or vetoes legislation passed by Congress, negotiates treaties with Senate approval, appoints federal judges, ambassadors, and cabinet members with Senate confirmation, leads foreign policies and defense initiatives. All right, let's pause real quick right there. So, you got the president, the CEO, and as a fascist, whatever you call it, whatever they're doing, he didn't pick them based off his skill sets, the skill sets they had. He picked them based off of loyalty. Didn't matter if they're qualified or not. They're picked because of their loyalty. So They are now the CEO, CNO, CMO, CCO, however many see somethings they are. Those are the people in charge, making the money. And who are going to be running the country whether they know what they're doing or not. More likely not. Okay. So we now move to, oh, and they lead foreign policies and defense initiatives. All right, so Vice President, second in command to the President, presides over the Senate and casts tie-breaking votes, assumes the presidency if the President is unable to perform duties. Congress, legislative branch, structure, House of Representatives. 435 members based on population, Senate 100 members, 2 per state. Responsibility, pass federal laws, approve budget and taxes, declare war. Confirm or reject presidential appointments and treaties, oversees federal agencies and programs. Federal Court Judicial Branch structure, Supreme Court, highest court, lower federal courts, courts of appeal, district courts. Responsibilities, interpret federal laws and the U.S. Constitution, resolve disputes between states or involving federal laws, review the constitution of laws or executive actions. State level governor, state executive branch role, head of state government. Like your manager at your job, that's what this is. Only instead at your job, they're over the whole state. So if your manager gets on your nerves, things of that nature, that's what you go. You got something wrong with the state, something's getting on your nerves. You go and you see like the attorney general in your state. That's who you address, like you would address if you have an open door policy at your job. The manager there, that's how you would address the attorney general. So, governor, state executive branch role, head of state government, responsibilities, implement and enforce state laws, oversee state agencies and budgets, signs or vetoes state legislation, manages state level emergencies and natural disasters. State legislative branch structure. Most states have a bicameral legislature, Senate and House of Representatives assembly. Nebraska is unique with a unicameral legislature. Responsibility, pass state laws, approve state budgets and taxes, oversee state programs and agencies. State court, state judicial branch structure, state Supreme Court, highest state court, intermediate appellate courts, trial courts like family criminal courts. Responsibility, interpret state laws and constitution, resolve disputes under state laws, oversees cases involving crime, contracts, or civil disputes within the state. Mayor and city county officials, role, head of cities, towns, or countries. Responsibility, manage local services like police, fire department, public transportation, and education. Enforce local ordinances and zoning laws. Represent local communities in state matters. City and county councils, responsibilities, pass local ordinances, approve city budgets and oversee municipal services. Local court responsibilities, handle local disputes, traffic violations, and minor criminal offenses. How they interact. Federal state Relations state are semi-autonomous but must comply with the U.S. Constitution and federal laws. Federal government provides funding and sets certain regulations, environmental standards, and civil rights. State-local relations. Local governments are created by states and operate under state laws to ensure a balance of power, allowing each level of government to handle specific duties while working together to serve citizens. Okay, so before I move on to the next thing, all right. That's what I covered for fascist, oligarchy, and since there was questions on how the government was ran, and it's not the first time I've been asked how it's ran, that answers how it's ran, the breakdown. Okay, let's see. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, okay. Let's see. I'm gonna bring up the book again that I'm working on, so we can go to the next section. By the way, if you are wondering who performed at the ball and inauguration, it was Carrie Underwood, Lee Greenwood, Rascal Flatts, Nelly, the Village People, Snoop Dogg, Jason Alden, Kid Rock, and Gavin DeCraw. Just in case you wondered. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I just finished discussing fascism and oligarchy and gave the breakdown for the branches in the government. Let's see. Speaking of government, rest in peace to President Jimmy Carter. He will be missed. I did go ahead and I watched parts of the funeral. Yes, indeed. While I'm waiting on the document to come up, in case you don't know much about uh, President Carter. Let's see. I wrote down a few things about him to share. Um, when I went to the Senate House, went to the Senate State House, because they had the age verification. He wasn't available, so I talked to his, I guess one of his secretaries. That's what I'm gonna call him. Beautiful when you walk in to the building after they've got you past security. And I wish I had more time to have stayed and did video. I got what video I could while I was down there, but all over the wall they had the pictures of like the presidents and things of that nature. And I just thought that my first was kind of neat. That they had them all up as you walk past with their names and everything. So yeah, very nice. Okay, so Jimmy,